I'm sure stars who become Oscar winners don't really get used to that fondness and overpour of love for them, but surely the massive amount of hate they receive from one wrong fatal move can also be surreal. And of course, Brie is no stranger to either. Therefore, today BTS is here to reveal our top 10 reasons why everyone hates Brie Larson. I'm your host Michaela, and let's peek beyond the screen. In at number 10, Marvel. Now this 10th point has layers because I'm sure many of you are aware of the levels of hate Brie has received over time. But if not, well, buckle up because you're in for a hella long ride. Point 10A starts with the most recent release of her newest film, The Marvels, which dropped on Marvel Entertainment's YouTube channel on April 11, 2023. This trailer is the company's most disliked ever release, and despite a lot of fan speculation that it's solely Brie's fault, there's another running theory that the inclusion of an all-female superhero cast may be behind some of that flack. The film snippet was released earlier this week, and as of now has received 468,000 dislikes, significantly catching up to its current total likes of 497,000. Though upon its initial reveal, the number of dislikes surpassed the likes by thousands. Now we turn into point 10.B, which touches on how much Marvel fans despised Brie from the start and why. Though it's not truly known for being one specific thing, she has since received a lot of slack for pretty much endless reasons. Whether it's her sudden lack of enthusiasm or something deeper, Brie has pretty much seen it all, but we'll discuss that more later on. Finally, our 10.C point is her Captain Marvel role. Brie was heavily praised for her roles in comedic films. Before landing Captain Marvel, the actress excelled in being humorous. But down the road, things seemed to drastically change. As she sunk further and further into her CM role, the majority of her humor notably disappeared. It got to a point where fans dubbed her unfit for her character, with some arguing that her ego got in the way of her natural talent. She was originally chosen for the role because she could balance simultaneously being sassy and funny. However, the longer she stayed in her Marvel role, the further she seemed to stray from that naturality. All the years of hate resulted in Brie addressing whether or not she planned to continue portraying Captain Marvel. But that leads us right into our 9th point. Before we break down the rest of today's list though, be sure to smash that like button on today's top 10 countdown. In at number 9, arrogant actress. If you were looking for that solid reason why Brie is so hated as an actress, these next 9 points may just confirm everything, but specifically our 9th point. Marvel fans never seem to forgive the claimed fact that Brie has become far too egotistical for her role in the MCU. And the worst part? Supposedly it's not even her playing Captain Marvel that brought about her supposed arrogance, but rather what the role did to seemingly fill up her head and cause an attitude. Reports state that the instant Brie was phased into a major franchise, she transitioned into this conceited actress who now takes being talented for granted. Because of this, her acting quality has taken a supposed hit and now reflects her off-screen character harshly. It also turns fans off and leaves them with a sour taste in their mouth. For example, most notably, collective groans from MCU fans were heard worldwide when the announcement for Brie's reprisal of Carol Danvers was released. Her recast for the Marvels, as aforementioned, showed Brie as another huge addition to the film after her main character moment in her superhero flick, Captain Marvel. While embarking on various interviews and press tours for the OGCM movie and simultaneously promoting Avengers Endgame, devoted Marvel supporters found just about every way to criticize Brie's every move, dubbing her aggressive, snarky, defensive, and arrogant amid endless other ridicule. Following the 2019 release of Captain Marvel, hardcore MCU fans ripped Brie and her portrayal apart, claiming her character was poorly thought out and her acting measured up to such. Both ahead of and after Avengers Endgame came out, shortly after Brie's films, a handful of MCU actors, including Brie this time, shared a press tour. During these sit-downs, fans assumed Brie's castmates disliked her and her behavior, eventually resulting in compilations of the shadiest moments online. The D23 Expo was the first to see the Captain Marvel sequel, and when Brie was questioned by a Variety journalist on how long she planned to portray her newer Avengers character, in line with the original sequence of retirements, Brie arguably replied in a snarky manner. She shrugged nonchalantly while looking around and exclaiming, "I don't know, does anyone want me to do it again?" Seeming taken aback, the journalist chuckled while glancing at the camera, assuming Brie was just being modest. However, Brie seemed to be addressing the intense hatred she received ever since originally taking on her character. Spreading like wildfire on the internet, fans began sharing a list of names to steal Brie's role, including Zendaya, Blake Lively, Jennifer Lawrence, Emilia Clarke, and Sophie Turner. To this day, the interview's replies are toxified with hate for the actress, as many labeled Brie insufferable. Slated for its November 2023 release, it seems Brie's haters will have to chew the metal in their mouths over her role a bit longer, as she appears to be in it for the long run. In at number 8, no good rumors. Rumors are always gonna do it for just about any star. So of course, when Brie stepped out into the limelight and grew her following, she wasn't excluded from the gossip and speculation surrounding her newer life. Not when she was also soon being hated for simply breathing within the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The rumors of Brie's on-set behavior, for one, is a running theory that just can't be squashed. And regardless if there's any real truth to the matter or not, they've already marked Brie's character. So much so that reports announced Don Cheadle confirming the speculation surrounding Brie in the past. But instead of feeding into the mess, Don actually revealed that fans were reading far too much into her rumored bad blood with her castmates. In a series of since-deleted tweets sourced by Looper, Don formally wrote regarding the fact, "Whoever you are, take a break from your detective work. We're all good. Hope you enjoyed the movie." And to take things one step further, Don even added the actress, finalizing, "So many speculators tonight, ma. See you tomorrow." Clearly, these bouts of rumors continue to play into the hot water Brie's landed in time and time again though. But I, for one, am glad Don put at least those rumors to rest for good. In at number 7, white actress, white influence. A huge portion of Brie's controversies actually stems from her stance on white influence, believe it or not. She takes a stand to push awareness but receives much backlash in return. Because while her intentions seem good, it also appears Brie doesn't fully grasp the understanding of not being a Caucasian actress in the industry. While she is bold to discuss the topic, those conversations don't hold much to her overall success and the roles she continues to land. And of course, this isn't really only her fault, but it still showcases a specific misunderstanding behind the curtains. Once the show unveils, Brie continues to speak what she feels is right, but unfortunately ends up representing her messages wrong. In at number 6, controversies. In even more controversial displays comes the world's triggered disdain for the actress due to how loudly she pushes for change in award categorizations. Now, this may seem backwards, but since Brie has become a previous Academy Award winner for her past work, she's been dubbed hypocritical for speaking against the same accolade show for their decisions, according to netizens. However, Brie has been insistent on how much she disapproves of the way prestigious awards are voted on and critiqued. Brie has even taken a stand by releasing various statements echoing the sentiment. But of course, her calls to action have all been displayed very publicly, leading to the people calling her out for calling out the staff and film critics' diversities, which are in charge of interviewing nominations and making the ultimate decisions. In at number 5, wrong intentions. This next point falls between the topics of Brie using her voice and being well misunderstood in the industry. As an actress who's been labeled as unafraid to use her voice, her strongly vocalized political and personal views have been commended and strongly hated, in turn leading to hate towards her. The issue with this lies in people deciphering whether or not her views are merely an act or she genuinely stands for them. Additionally, Brie's words and actions tend to be received in an assaulting way while attempting to allegedly take a stand for the greater good. In retrospect, people could just not believe her, or it could be that Brie lacks a good sense of expressiveness that deems her intentions uncertain to those receiving it. It's no wonder everything she says somehow translates into a negative aspect, if so. In at number 4, YouTube made things worse. Brie was already knee-deep in negative attention when she decided to launch her own YouTube channel. The general public was already questioning her every move and talent. And who would have thought creating the channel would have added even more controversy to Brie's list? Certainly not her, I hope. Her content brought in a massive amount of views, but she faced major backlash in the process. Her first video initially received just about as many dislikes as likes, which just isn't the standard for the video sharing platform. Despite fans speaking out in support of Brie, commentators have also expressed their negative opinions. And while, as for Brie, she seems to pretend she just simply doesn't see it. In at number 3, scalding statements. There have been questions floating around about whether Brie's deeply shocking comments can be classified as feminism or discrimination. Many of her statements are indeed strong-minded and bold, often calling out or saying things that hold truth to those who are guilty. But this also leads to netizens' opinions of intimidation. However, a handful of Brie's comments have heavily leaned towards the side of discrimination, but not in the racial sense as one may think. This would be feministic discrimination, according to reports. A lot of what Brie says has caused her to be labeled a difficult woman who hates white males. And obviously, people's opinions are valid, but this may be a bit overboard. It could also be true though, so I'll let you all be the judge of this point. In number 2, jealousy. Now this next one isn't very fact-based, as according to fans of Brie, the reason she's so hated is a case of plain old classic jealousy. That hint of the ugly green venomous emotion can perhaps be the real reason people despise her, and it wouldn't be very shocking if so. She's an actress who keeps landing huge roles, is unafraid to use her platform, and continues growing in success. Surely this is grounds for some type of envy, right? But is this disdain based on truth, or are people really just envious of her unabashed accomplishments? Well, let's take note of other stars who faced insane amount of hate on their come up, for example, like Meghan Markle, Jake Paul, and Yoko Ono. All these celebrities seem to have their their own separate reasons for being rumoredly problematic or reportedly worth being chewed up and spit out in the media. And it seems Brie has unfortunately long since joined that pity party. And in at number 1, maxed out talent. Critics have deemed it mutually impossible to factor out whether or not Brie's talents are now limited or if her reputation perceives her and people just can't stand it. A lot of the questions surrounding her abilities stem from her role as Captain Marvel, as discussed earlier. As this is a huge and widely supported industry, it's no surprise fans were unhappy with at least one actor in the MCU. But can we blame it all on her portrayal? Who knows? Still, Brie never really strived to change anything about her character to possibly win fans over, just ignored their vocalization for change. And of course, no one is ever as angry as a group of supporters who remain unnoticed, hence the hate that followed. Though Brie is talented, the question here is whether she has the right talent for what she's still doing. Thanks for tuning in, BTS out!